Welcome, you dirty batters, to the Inglorious Batters podcast. My name is Jordan, alongside Adam and Rob, as always. Just a quick disclaimer and everything. So, our streaming platform is currently having a difficult time hooking up to Facebook, and so if you're watching this on Facebook, that means I reposted it. So, I apologize. It's just currently down at the moment. It should be up in 2 weeks, so we should be totally fine with that. But welcome again to the show. This week, obviously, we're not together because we physically can't do that every week because of lives and planning. But when it comes down to your guys' week so far, how are you guys doing? I think I started off with Rob last week. How are you doing, Adam?
Yeah, man, I'd love to kick this off. I'm doing well. Just a real quick recap, dude. How awesome was that 2 weeks ago, being over there at Rudy's?
It was so much fun.
Dude,
I enjoyed it.
I mean, and shout out to a few of the guys in particular that made it out from our league, Shane and Jim and Brandon too. I know we had some
and Warren.
I was going to say, I know we had some additional family. Warren, obviously, being involved in the league as well as Bastard Jordan's father. And then just overall, just like great vibes. And can we forget Old Fort Baseball as inviting us out to that? It was awesome. It was great vibes. It was like just cool to be in person with you guys and talk baseball. But yeah, man, this week, fantasy wise, I find myself down about 100 pitching matchups. I don't think I had my first starter go until Thursday this week. And the guy I'm playing is leading the league in scoring. I think he had two start pitchers this week. So just is like tough sledding for me. But glad to be here with you fellas to talk some baseball, fantasy baseball, all things in between. To all the viewers, keep the comments coming in all show long. We love your feedback, love your questions, love anything you can provide us. It keeps us engaged, keeps you all engaged. And Rob, how you feeling, brother?
Hey, man, pretty good. The past 2 weeks with the kids been fantastic. Yeah. So outside that, regular life has just been pretty neutral. I've been able to dive into some fantasy though, so I'm hoping to make a turnaround, and I have made a turnaround. I've won 2 in a row. I'm looking at a solid third win here, hopefully, and hopefully getting on the right track for the season and correcting course. So, and I also want to give a special shout out to Caleb Roth, one of our good listeners, full-time listener, pretty much. With Pit Viper Sports, covering the Northeast Indiana area for high school sports and media. I feel like it is necessary to call out the work that he does, because getting some sunshine and some honorable mentions for the local Hoosiers and the attention in the next level of athletics is definitely on par for the message I want to send. So go for it.
Yeah, Robin, as you call it, it's Caleb and everybody that's doing that type of stuff, as you would like to call it, it's God's work, right? I mean, because we do it out of love of the game for the most part, just like we're doing it with podcast and fantasy baseball in general. You just do it because you love the game and you want to help grow or grow the game or pass it along to the next generation. It's so, kudos. And Caleb, appreciate you tuning in every week, man.
Right.
Jordan?
So, it's been going good. We're starting the prep work of getting ready for our vacation that we leave for on Friday, which means I will not be on the next episode. So I know, we obviously Adam and Rob are going to kick some major butt in this next episode. But no, life's been great. Oliver's crawling everywhere now. So he's going to be moving a lot. I don't know where he got it from. It's truly, it's not like it's not like I can sit still. But no, fantasy wise, I got curb stomped by Rob, who was, again, at that time, the worst team. Again, curb stomped is a nice way of saying it. like an American History X when Edward Norton was curb stomping. Have you guys seen that movie?
Great movie.
Oh, for sure, bro.
Great movie. But no,
One of the best of all time.
It makes you feel a little
Yeah.
But no, fantasy wise, got beat by Rob. But then also I came back the next week and had a dominating performance against against Bob, my fault. And then this week I'm playing against the number one scorer in the whole league, Brandon 2. And I am currently winning right now. We both suck this week. We're not doing well. Both of our teams are playing very poorly, but we both have pitchers going. He just had Tyler Glasnow pitch 19 points for him. I have Dylan Cease, who I traded for. That's giving me 17 in 4 innings, so that's good. Only giving up 2 hits on 56 pitches in 4 innings. But yeah, this week should be a good one. Good luck to you, Brandon, too. I saw you in here. And yes, Marcus, Ollie is ready for world domination. But also, I got a quick question for you guys. So you guys are nerds.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what superhero in either Marvel or DC would you like to replicate?
Ooh.
Yeah,
mine's an easy choice. I already got mine.
Okay.
Who are you going with?
I think I have a feeling I know who Jordan's going with, but I could be wrong.
What do you think?
Okay, Jordan. Marvel? Is it Marvel?
Yeah, it's Marvel.
Oh, it is. Oh,
yeah.
X-Men?
No, but he's my second favorite in the X-Men. If I was going to go with my second favorite, it's an X-Men. Yeah.
Well, I'll start it off. So, dude, all right. Yeah, this is gonna be lame as hell, and I have a feeling like
Professor X.
No, I'm not. Like after the events of this week that I've seen with my own 2 eyes, I probably should change this. But dude, for whatever reason, I've always been this Aquaman guy. Not like the lame one that wears like the like rubber oven mitts. But just like in general, for whatever reason, I always kind of liked that comic book. I think a lot of it was because, it just like wasn't Jesus Jordan. I mean, God.
I didn't know it was that loud.
After that Capri Sun,
I didn't know it was that loud.
Just actively playing defense against me here on the podcast with the Capri Sun.
He named it Cedric before he started drinking. He says, "Your name is Cedric Mullins."
Hey! I have to move on from him for a little bit. It's Tyler. It's not Tyler. It's Kevin Gausman. Get it right.
Okay, just suck that thing dry. But anyways, yeah, Aquaman's my choice. Hey, but dude, you know what? I would change it because here's the thing about me, dude. I am scared to death of the ocean and any sort of sea life in general. And I saw the most disturbing video earlier this week in Egypt of this like guy that got eaten by a shark, and it was like
they killed that shark.
I saw that they got him today.
Yeah.
Anything to keep the beaches open with the tourism, it's like they just found any damn shark they could find.
I freaking love sharks. I want to go swimming with sharks without a cage. My wife won't let me. And I'm trying to convince her to let me swim with the sharks in a cage. She still won't let me. And I'm like, why not? I love the ocean. Oh, I freaking love it.
Count me out, man. But yeah, hey, I'm going with Aquaman. I'm going with Aquaman anyway because it'll help me conquer my biggest fear and, whatever. I mean, that's where I'm going with. I'm going unconventional. Rob, how about you?
I'm going functionality over anything else, and straight up, there's nobody else in superhero universe that is more powerful than Rogue. So I'm going to become Rogue. First and foremost, I got them thick cheeks. and them curves. I can lay it out. Second, I get to date Gambit at one point or get sexually interested in Gambit at one point. And Gambit's probably got the coolest power out of anybody out there and fights with the bow staff. And then third, I can absorb I could absorb the powers of any other hero about. So I'll be able to just touch you guys, take whatever you guys got, and be able to do that. So essentially, I could be Carol Danvers, but still look like Rogue.
Well, hold on a Wait,
Did you know that she has a limit to how much she can absorb? Almost killed her
that's
when
fine.
she tried to. She almost died when she tried to absorb the Hulk.
That's
can't.
also a different. That's different because the Hulk's not like a natural superhero. He's a gamma radi. He's from gamma, so that's completely different. So I'm going Rogue.
Wait, what color is Rogue's hair?
It's red.
Yeah, I knew.
I met her at Universal when we went on vacation. I was so hyped, dude.
Hey, was she as hot as what you thought?
Yeah.
That's right, dude. I have a brother that had like a weird like thing for Tinkerbell, and I just found it very odd. And in fact, he was like, yeah. In fact, he was sending snaps of Tinkerbell, and it just kind of, I don't know, man. It kind of creeped me out a little bit. But Jordan, go ahead and reveal yours before we get into the baseball.
I want to take a guess. Let's narrow it down. Okay, it's not the X-Men. Is it Avengers?
Yeah, he joined the Avengers at one point.
Doctor Strange.
No.
It's more mainstream than that. Yeah, I know it. You're a Spider-Man guy.
Hell yeah. Freaking love Spider-Man. Because for one, not trying to be cocky, I'm that's the closest superhero I can be because I do the ninja stuff.
Yeah.
And then he does a lot of that stuff. Like, obviously he does it better than me, but I mean, like, you know, it's fun because I feel like I'm Spider-Man sometimes. But no, my favorite Spider-Man, though, is not even Peter Parker. It's Miles Morales. Not just because he's a black guy and Puerto Rican like me, but because his powers are cooler. He can go camouflage, and he has the power of creating electricity.
Yeah.
It's pretty dope.
I like the Peter Parker Spider-Man.
Dope, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. I like the Peter Parker Spider-Man. I definitely like the Peter Parker Ben Reilly thing they got going on recently. That was really
Ben Reilly that Scarlet suit is sexy. That's the best suit they've ever made.
Well, the Chasm suit that they made for him is pretty sick. But like, I like what they're doing there. But Miles Morales is on a completely different level of, like, he's on a different plane of superhero to me because that's like my next generation. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Well, the thing that I'm so excited about, I'm going to ask because I have to be nice. I know you guys don't, but do you guys play video games?
Not really.
Okay, so the Spider-Man video game came out for the PlayStation in like 2018. One of the best games I've ever played. The swinging mechanics were phenomenal. And then this new one's coming out October 20th, and Peter Parker's going to be wearing the black suit. And so when you watch him with a little bit of gameplay that they release, he's very aggressive and is very gravelly like this.
Kind of like Batman?
Like that.
Yeah. Well, his voice is a lot deeper. He's a lot more pissed off, and I love it personally. So in this game, they are for sure. Miles Morales is going to be fighting Peter Parker. That's my prediction. And Miles is going to win because Peter's arrogance is going to get in the way.
I don't like arrogant Peter.
All
right, fantasy. Let's talk baseball. Let's go.
I was just about to say that. So let's talk what you guys actually came here for. I like shooting it a little bit, just talking a little bit. You know, doesn't always have to be about baseball. 25-8, but let's get into it. So we're gonna start off with the divisions. Like how are the divisions looking in your guys' eyes? Like
Adam,
like MLB division wise.
I mean, so we kind of wanted to go into this last episode. But with everything we had going on with Logan from Old Ford and just kind of, doing our first live show, I know we didn't get to a lot of the topics we wanted to get to, but we kind of looked at it. What we wanted to look at it was going into Memorial Day weekend, you're getting to June, calendar slipping to June, you're kind of starting to feel like you're getting into summer. That's typically the spot where we, like to just, kind of do a progress report on where you're at, because, I mean, what I heard earlier this week is I think it might have been Darren from Fat Boy Fadeaway. He had mentioned that there was a stat he had read where basically once the calendar flips to June, about 58% of all the teams that are leading their division go on to win their division. So I thought that was interesting. So, what that basically equates to is out of the 6 divisions, that means 4 of those teams that, if those averages ring true to this year, 4 of those teams would end up hanging on to their division, and there'd be a couple divisions that would maybe flop from who's leading it this year. So I guess I kind of wanted to look at it like, all right, this is where we're at now, on June 9th. Where do you think there's going to be movement? Is there, in particular, this is more of a general discussion. Is there some surprises on, where some teams are, whether that's good or bad, anything like that? So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about when we talk these divisions, just general talk, because I think it can lead to a lot of separate discussions in itself. But what do you guys think?
I mean, you got the obvious 2 standouts that I think everybody and their mother would call out, being the Rangers and the Pirates, kind of contending for the divisions at the moment. I think that those Pirates? 2, the Rangers and the Pirates.
Haven't they slowed down a little bit? Sorry,
they slowed down. But
my fault.
The Pirates
I apologize.
They have slowed down. They slowed down immensely for like a 3-week period, but I mean they're still contending for the division. Now they've had a light schedule over that time. I think they took on Miami once, and then I think maybe Kansas City. And no offense, Jordan, but I know they had St. Louis wrapped up in there, and they swept St. Louis. So I mean I know that the Pirates, they've been playing way better than I anticipated they would, and I think that is. I think that's pretty awesome. And when you break down the Pirates lineup, it's not really coming from any one particular source. It's really spread out, and it looks pretty decent throughout the top half of their lineup, which is pretty fun. And then if you move on to the Rangers, I mean, how fun are they to watch?
They just got mollywopped today, but yeah, no, 100%.
These guys are just crushing the ball.
Every single
one.
1 through 9.
Russian. Yeah. So they're a fun team to watch. And I mean, I know it's probably an unpopular opinion, but I freaking love their City Connect uniforms. I think they look badass. I love the Rangers this year. I'm super excited about watching them.
Yeah, no, those uniforms are starting to grow on me a little bit, Rob. In particular, just the more you see them, and as you see, like a Corey Seager in them, who's now back with them. That's the thing about him. Corey Seager was out, virtually. I mean, I think he got hurt within 2 or 3 weeks of the season, and he's been back now a couple weeks. But what's been impressive about them is you look at just the tangible numbers for the Texas Rangers this year. As it sits here today, they're 40-21, good for a .656 win percentage, 5 games ahead of the Houston Astros. Right. With a plus 154 run differential, which is just absolutely insane, man. But they are a team that's done this now largely without Jacob deGrom, which is, the big news coming in this week.
It's so sad.
It's sad. It's, and then I read something where the Rangers turned down that high risk insurance on his contract, which, I don't know, man. When you're giving him that kind of money, I just would have thought that comes with.
That's a given.
Because he has a history. This is his second time getting Tommy John, isn't it?
Yeah.
And typically when you get Tommy John once, you don't really get it again.
Yeah. I mean, no. I mean, and I guess so when you look at it, it's like, okay, well, you know, I don't know how sustainable it is as far as, you know, the level they're playing at and the pace they're playing at right now. I don't know. I mean, I just don't know how I did a little bit of a deep dive in the numbers, which I think I'll get to a little later on, with the Rangers in particular, but it's impressive. I mean, Evaldi, Gray, Perez,
Baldy.
Perez.
Who else do they have pitching down there? I mean,
Dunning.
Dane Dunning. He's
John Gray.
Yeah.
Gray. Yeah.
Dunning's been pretty nasty this year. Let me see if
Dunning. His last performance, he didn't do that well. Cardinals hit him pretty good. Oh, damn it! What just happened?
But but Rangers, I'm excited about. I mean, and their offense is just insane. I mean, when you look at, Adolis Garcia, Corey Seager, Josh Jung, Nathaniel Lowe, Marcus Semien. Jeez, Marcus Semien. What the hell? They're pretty stacked. Jonah Heim, one of the few catchers that worth.
Adolis Garcia.
Yeah, exactly.
And Adolis Garcia is he's naughty. He's pretty fucking good.
I guess the biggest offseason acquisition, in my opinion, is Bruce Bochy at the helm. I mean, that's some savvy you got in the dugout there, and I think that makes a big difference.
Who was the feller they had there before though?
That cat from the Dodgers.
I want to call him like Ron.
That's the reason why Corey Seager went there, and then they fired him his first year.
Right.
What's his name? That's the only reason why Seager went to Texas.
I don't remember. It's not important. I like the Rangers lineup. I think that their lineup is solid. I think that they're one whole, and I know I spoke highly of Josh Jung, earlier on in the season. I did a deep dive on him recently, and I don't know, man. Like his strikeout rate compared to his ISO is a little bit too much. I mean, he hits for power on his ISO with his ISO. His ISO shows that. I'm good with that, but his strikeout rate at a 20.7%, or 27%. I'm sorry, at 27%, and then only a 6.9% walk rate. I think he's going to regress back to his norm. He's kind of been playing above that the last 15 days.
Wait, who are you talking about? Sorry.
Josh Jung.
Oh, okay.
But from top to bottom, if that's what I think their weakest piece is going to be, maybe Travis Jankowski. If that's going to be their but if that's going to be their weakest piece, I think that they can sustain this. Marcus Semien's been able to be this guy for his entire career. Corey Seager is. Leody Taveras has been pretty solid. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I remember. This wasn't said on air or anything. I just remember having this conversation with Rob, that he was watching, that he was listening to a podcast, and they were talking about Adolis Garcia, and then they're like, he's been good for like the past 3 seasons, and nobody talks about him. Nobody talks about him being good. They just.
I think he got Rookie of the Year votes when he was a rookie.
He did.
Where did he come from?
I'm pretty sure.
St. Louis.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we traded him for cash consideration.
That stings.
Yeah. That paid for a couple new bricks, though, and new bricks on the outside of the stadium's pavement. So.
Yay. We also traded Gallon.
Yeah.
Andy Alcantara. And Randy Rosarena.
Yeah, there's a laundry list of them. But so
what do you think, Adam?
Rob, well, yeah, I was going to say, I guess if we could all maybe pinpoint where we think what 2 divisions we think are going to see some movement, and a lot of it might be the same answers, but because I don't know. I mean, I think personally, I think you're going to see. I think you're not going. I don't think you're going to see any movement as far as who's going to win the division in the East. Tampa Bay.
No.
I just think they're too strong. I think.
Baltimore's getting number 2 though.
Yeah, well, yeah, I could see that if they can, if they, with all these teams, to stay healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
I could see any of those teams. I could see any of those teams getting the second place in that division. I could seriously tie out.
But the only team I don't see is the Red Sox. They've been playing like doo-doo brown recently.
They're not good. Chris Sale's hurt now.
Yeah.
I see.
Again.
Hey, by the way, breaking news. I just got it in my earbud. Our producers, Pete Alonso. What is he out? 3 to 4 weeks? Is that what I'm
3 to 4 weeks? Oh, yeah. Anyway, continue what you were saying, Adam.
No, but I guess if I were to break it down 2 divisions where I think there's going to be movement, I think, and this is personally, I do think I don't think I'm very impressed with the Arizona Diamondbacks. They currently have a 1.5 game lead. They're out in the West. I do think they're maybe just a year ahead of schedule. I just don't know if I quite believe in the pitching. The bullpen's been a hell of a lot better this year. I just don't know if I believe in that. And with a 1.5 game lead, they do have a plus 28 run differential, but you're sitting there with the Dodgers sitting in second, only a 1.5 game back, and it's like, man, they've got a plus 58 run differential. I don't think the Dodgers have played near as sitting 9 games above 500 today. I don't think they've played near as well as what they're going to be. So I think that one's going to move, and then personally, and a lot of this just has to do with I just don't believe in the Twins.
That whole division
could be up in the air. I mean, I think, between everybody but Kansas City, you just never know. I mean, Detroit, maybe not so much, but I think Cleveland, Chicago, Minnesota, I think you're going to see some movement there on who's going to win that division. So, and I know Caleb chimed in and said NL Central. That's another one that, definitely, yeah. But I guess let me leave it to you guys. What do you guys think?
No. One of my choices was going to be both of the Centrals. Both of those are wide open. Then the NL Central is open for every team because it sucks. Cardinals are in last place in that division, but they're only 8 games out. It's attainable. And then, like you mentioned again, the freaking AL Central. No team is above 500, which is ridiculous. I find that hilarious. It's damn near a meme at this point. But no, I agree with what you said about the Dodgers, though.
We just call it the Mid-Central is what we're going to call it.
We're the Mid-Central. Hey, wait, we're all represented in the Mid-Central.
We are. And I it's hard to disagree with both of you. I mean, the Central, the East is, I think, solidified. You got the Braves. You got
No, it's not. It's a lot. Miami's only 3 out.
Miami is not a team that's going to compete long term. They're not going to do it. Sandy hasn't been pitching the way that Sandy pitches. I just don't think it's. I don't think it's going to happen. In my opinion, the Braves and the
Mets,
Phillies. Yeah, no, not the Mets.
Phillies.
I mean, the Phillies could, if they could turn it on, they could compete.
Yeah,
I'm just saying all the teams.
I just don't believe. I know. I don't believe in the pitching in the NL East for any team other than the Atlanta Braves. And if you look at it today, the Atlanta Braves in the NL East, they're the only team in that whole division with a positive run differential at plus 70. You've got Miami Marlins in second place, currently only 3.5 games out, but they're negative 24 run differential. So it's just and the Mets, who knows, man? It's just what the hell's going on with them? I mean, that's embarrassing, quite frankly. With that payroll,
I think Cohen's getting embarrassed too.
And I saw where a couple people were asking for Buck Showalter to drop Francisco Lindor to like 6th or 7th in the batting order. It just makes me laugh.
Speaking of Francisco Lindor, is he still in your back? Is he still wearing the clown hat?
Oh yeah. Yeah, he'll always be. I actually super glued it on there, so that's not going anywhere.
So I have my choices. Obviously, the Central; those are going to have some movement. The Dodgers are going to take the West, in my opinion. The Rangers; it's between the Rangers and the Astros. And then when it comes down to the East, I personally think that the Braves are going to take that one. There's not going to be movement in that one. But in the AL East, the Rays are going to be one. However, I do see the gap shortening, though. I don't see them being as big of a lead as they are.
With the Orioles?
Yeah, the Orioles are so good. And with the Cardinals sucking so bad at life right now, I've been forced to like watch other teams. Granted, Cedric Mullins is my favorite player. That's not a Cardinal in baseball, and so I like watching them play. And I've discovered I actually really enjoy watching them play. And so they're such a young team that's just they're out to prove people wrong, and I'm sticking with they're going to make the American League Championship this year. I'm still sticking with it. And yes, Kevin Gausman is also mine as well.
Yes, we know, Jordan.
Oh no.
But no,
He's
but
on
no,
a
yeah,
different player.
that's huh? What is that?
You're on to another one. You're on to another one.
Well, Cedric's hurt.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say Cedric's on the IL, so he needs a flavor of the week.
Flavor of the week.
Although I will say you have been on the Cedric train, and you've been loyal and have stuck by him.
He has. I'm not taking that from him.
Yeah.
And you guys tried your best to not let me have him this year. Proved you guys wrong. I was going to spend whatever amount on him, but no. Yeah. I feel like this conversation is over. Wait, give me a second. Hang on, I forgot some.
Rob, do you think is this a week? Oh, go ahead.
Hey guys, this just in: Pete Alonso's out 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay. Well, just so you've got it here first, this is we call this the last take. Your late show breaking news. Pete Alonso out 3 to 4 weeks. That's a tough blow. That's a tough blow to
Peter. Alonso's out.
I'm glad that we finally I'm glad that we finally have an answer for that, because it's been eating me alive to see what like his injury was, because he did get hit by that pitch, and then hopefully we'll find out more news from Rob later on.
Me?
Yeah.
On who?
About Pete Alonso being on the IL.
Yeah.
I'll report whatever I'll report whatever I know.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't you know, this is not just merely like just a BS podcast. We do investigative journalism here.
Exactly.
And,
even on time.
Even if you're citing butt crack sports from social media or something.
Yeah.
Hey, so now let's move on. Let's move on to all-star ballots.
Let me pull mine up.
Hang on, give me 1 second.
Well, while you're pulling that up, Jordan, so what we're going to kind of discuss, it's hard to believe like we opened up the show today, saying that we flipped over to June. It's hard to believe, but hey, the All-Star game's right around the corner, and as we know, with the MLB and their format change in the All-Star voting, here in recent years, they kind of it's obviously heavily fan voted on, where they actually kind of do it in rounds, where we're kind of, if you get the number of votes, you advance into the second round, and then so on, and until they establish their starting roster. So we've just entered that first round phase, and I know we've been discussing privately about our ballots and talking, but yeah, I thought this might be kind of a fun period because I think there could be a lot of change between this first ballot and, even if some of the guys we've picked, whether they even make it onto the final ballot, that, I think that'll be an area of discussion. But I thought that this would be a fun topic. So Jordan, what do you?
I'll start off with my ballot. Keep in mind, I accidentally skipped over the shortstop. I'm only doing one ballot per wave, so it doesn't confuse me.
Yeah.
But no, I did forget to do a shortstop. I accidentally skipped over it. Sorry.
Well, no, Jordan, that means you're going to have to plug one in on the spot.
Oh shoot!
You can't leave shortstop off the ballot. I mean, come on now.
I can't. Okay. All right. So all right. I'm thinking. All right. So first base, I have Yandy Diaz and Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman, the best hitter in baseball, no question about it. The man, well, him and Luis Arias.
No,
those are two of the best hitters in baseball. And Yandy Diaz is playing.
Who was the second? I'm sorry,
Luis Arias.
Yeah,
Luis Arias is a better hitter than both of them. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Well, I said that they're the best. Freddie Freeman and Luis Arias are the best hitters in baseball. That's what I said.
Yeah, you broke up on the second one. I'm trying to multi-screen. So.
Oh, okay. And then Yandy Diaz. Yandy Diaz, I don't think he's a surprise because he was productive last season, but he's playing better than he did last season. He's not a surprise. We knew that he was good. Have you seen this man's arms? Yeah. This man's freaking huge. Second base, American League, pretty much the easiest one I could think of for second base, Marcus Semien. Don't have to talk about that one. And then second base for National League, at the time when I did the vote, Nolan Gorman was the best second baseman in the National League at the time. Like performing wise, he was playing at a very high and elite level. I would probably lean a little bit towards Ozzie Albies right now. But that one locked down for sure. Well, not locked down. That one's probably going to be subject to change. Third base. So this was our biggest discussion at the beginning of the season, is how stacked third base is. Yeah. This year, third base kind of sucks. Because the guys that are typically the highest performers aren't playing at a high level that we're used to. Jose Ramirez is good. He's playing still at a high level, but he's played a lot better than what he's playing now. But I have him voted as my third baseman. And then the National League third baseman. This is not a homer pick by any means. But if you look based off of like number-wise, if you look based off of overall performance, it's really only between two third basemen in the National League, and it's Spencer Steer and Nolan Arenado. And I just went with Arenado on that point. Machado's playing horribly.
Yeah.
Austin Riley's playing worse than Arenado. Spencer Steer is the only one that's playing at a higher level or very similar to Arenado. And like it's that one. National League is tough. That's all I'm gonna say. I may change that one in the second wave. I don't know yet. I'm not staying gung-ho on that. JD Davis is playing well. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then shortstop, Bo Bichette, come back to me. And then outfield, I'm going to go through these in American League. Dolis Garcia, Aaron Judge, and Cedric Mullins. It's hilarious that two of those guys are on the IL now. And then Ronald Acuna, Mookie Betts, and then Juan Soto for National League. Catcher, Adley Rutschman, Sean Murphy, and then DH, obviously Shohei Ohtani. And then I just threw in Bryce Harper.
Okay. All right.
I discovered I didn't have to explain every single pick. And I went a little long on accident. I apologize.
No, yeah. I think what Rob, what we can do, Rob, and you and I can go over our picks, and we can absolutely rely on the comment section to critique our pick or come up with, we'll rely on the comment section to kind of see where our next topic goes with our All-Star ballots. So, Rob, why don't you go ahead and give me your rundown of your first round of the All-Star ballot?
All right. Well, why don't we do this? Well, no, I got to pull it up on my screen.
Okay.
All right. Adam, do you got yours up?
Yep.
All right. Well, why don't we do this? I'll bounce mine off you. You bounce yours off me, and we'll go position by position.
Okay.
So first base.
That's what we should have done in the first place. I apologize.
First base American League, I went with Yandy Diaz for all the same reasons St. Jordan did. I mean, a 968 OPS, 12 home runs, 315 average. Obviously, why the hell not? National League, I went with Freddie Freeman, 336 average, a 986 OPS. And I do think Luis Ariz is on a level of his own right now when it comes to hitting, but I think Freddie Freeman's right behind him. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's the thing about it. So you had Yandy Diaz and Freeman?
Frederick.
Yeah, Frederick.
We both did.
So I'm looking at my first draft here. I've got Yandy Diaz and Freddie Freeman as well. So won't spend too much time on it, but it's like, one of those, we're kind of the stat junkies, but I looked at like Yandy Diaz, and I'm like, man, we're this far into it, and he's at like a 2.4 WAR, and I'm like, man, that's really good. Surely that's got to be up there with the best. And then Freddie Freeman 2.8 WAR, through only we're only talking like 63 games here, and he's at a 2.8 WAR on the season. So yep, I'm with you there on first base. So second base.
You got
second base. I've got, probably again for debate purposes, not anything too crazy, but I got Marcus Semien in the American League, and I've got Luis Ariz in the National League. Luis Ariz, I'll be very curious to see where he ends up, because he's got just the type of swing. Obviously, not a lot of power, but he's just got the type of swing and really no holes in his swing. I honestly have no idea how you pitch to him, because he'll hit it where it's pitched. I'll be curious. I don't think he's going to hit 400, but you just don't see it very often where a team trades away the, reigning hitting title champion. And I was just so happy to see him go out of the Central, but yeah, those are my two. Rob, what do you have?
I went with the same. Marcus Semien, Luis Ariz, 947 OPS for Luis Ariz. Anybody that's not, if you submit an all-star ballot and you do not have Luis Ariz on your all-star ballot, you're a cuck, and you probably.
So you're calling me a cuck? All right. Fair enough.
Yeah, you didn't have Luis. You don't.
No. So this is the thing. I totally forgot he existed for second base. I thought he was a first baseman, and so I didn't select him for first base because I picked Freddie Freeman. I forgot he can play. I forgot he can play second.
Well, but who'd you pick for second, Jordan?
I picked the hottest hitter at the time, which I regret voting for him, Nolan Gorman. But
okay. But,
at the time he was raking.
Yeah, I was going to say, in your defense.
But see, this is the time when you put those in, though. You put those that's when that's why I put a lot of my votes in too. So
yeah. I was going to say these first two positions, maybe not a whole lot of parity between our picks, but I tried to throw in a couple.
But I totally thought that Luis Ariz was a first baseman.
Hey man, that's okay. Who was it that I thought was a pitcher who ended up being a third baseman? Motter.
Taylor Motter.
Moiter. Was that it?
That guy's
I thought he was a pitcher. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Third base. I kind of went a little off the books here. I went with Josh Young. I like Jordan said, he kind of went with who was hot. I didn't necessarily go with who was hot. I know the first two rounds of the All-Star ballot voting is really kind of voter dependent, and I kind of wanted to represent those underdogs. So let's do this. We're under the dog. I went with Josh Young because he's got an 860 OPS. He's leading the American League first baseman or third baseman in OPS at the time that I cast my first ballot. So, and then my National League, again, I went with JD Davis for the same reason, an 863 OPS with a 291 average. In San Francisco's doesn't really have a whole lot of, a whole lot out there that to boast about when it comes to an all-star ballot. So let's go, JD Davis. What do you got?
Yeah, man. I love it. I love the picks here because I think at least maybe for all of our third base picks, but in both leagues, I think they may be different. But I'll start in the National League. I've got Austin Riley at third base. Man, I just really, and like you guys said, it's a lot of it's the first round. I mean, so a lot of it is maybe just kind of maybe try to get those guys into the next round, and then maybe you get a little bit tougher choice when the field. But it's like, some of the big names, you're like, well, I'm not going to give them a vote. They're going to have so many damn votes as it is, But I got Austin Riley. He's sitting at about a 281 batting average this year. He's got 11 bombs, 32 RBIs, 39 runs, but an 817 OPS. He's got a 118 OPS plus, so he's about 18% above league average there. More than anything, I just think because he's hitting well as far as his numbers go. He's hitting well below his career averages, in what's been, a relatively short career. He broke on the scene in 2019, but I think he's also, he's got enough of a track record. He's pretty durable. That's my pick. Hey, American League man. Hey, I got Jose Ramirez in there at third base. This man's really turning it around. Real quick, he's last night he hit 3 home runs. Now he's got 200 career home runs, and he got 700 career RBIs on that second home run of the night. So it was actually kind of cool.
Hold on. Breaking news: Pete Alonso to the 15-day IL. Out 3 to 5 weeks.
15-day IL.
15-day IL. Out 3 to 5 weeks, maybe longer.
Who owns him in our league?
If Ethan. I get to speak to him first.
Oh, Ethan.
Ah, dang.
The hits.
Pete Alonso's on the IL?
He's on the IL.
Damn.
Yeah.
Did you guys know? Again, and he did. He threw that pitch again.
Yeah.
No, I did not know. I did not know that he got hurt.
Yeah.
No, he didn't get hurt. He didn't get hurt. He's on the IL.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anyway,
thank you for breaking that pressing news. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Hey, so anyways, I'll go real quick because I guess we've already been going 49 minutes. My shortstop, I got Corey Seager in there. I know he hasn't played much, but I think the numbers are there, given the sample size that he has, and he's played long enough. I think he's definitely all-star worthy, playing on an exciting team. Hey, but you know what I got in the National League? Because, man, I'll tell you what, the National League, for whatever reason, National League shortstops, it's like very thin, especially when you got like a Trey Turner who's having such a down year.
Yeah.
Abysmal year.
And I looked at this position in particular on my all-star ballot where it's like, okay, every team has to get somebody in. And it's sad to think of it this way because this guy's a Pittsburgh Pirate. And I'm like, well, I got to find somewhere to get a Pittsburgh Pirate position player in there.
Hey, Brian?
Rodolfo Castro.
Oh, no. That's the third baseman.
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah, I'm going. He's Rodolfo Castro. He's kind of versatile. He's got a few positions he plays, but that's where I'm going. He's got a 118 OPS plus. Not anything too impressive, but man, that position's a little thin over there in the National League.
No, it is, and I mean, I want to assure the audience when I say this, it's not like Adam when I reveal my pick. It's not like Adam being a complete homer pick with Adam's third base pick. My shortstop pick just happens to be Matt McClain, but it's not because I'm a Reds fan. It's because he's got a 947 OPS and a 357 average on the season. He's only been up for a month. This dude is raking. Dude is tearing it apart. He's fun to watch, and I'm a huge fan. But that's a completely unbiased pick. That is 100% unbiased. And then for the American League, I went with Bo Bichette, 880 OPS. Dude he is quickly evolving into one of the smoothest hitters I see in the game. And he is just so, like, you know how when you like go through something and you're like trying to describe how it looks to you and you don't have like the words. So this sounds weird, but to me, Bo Bichette is like creamy when he swings. Everything is so smooth and fluid and it just glides. Yeah. It's like butter. It's so like perfect. And I just love and I love to watch him hit. And then even better, he gets steal bags. I love the buddy. I love him. Bo Bichette
is he better than his dad?
One of my favorite players.
Is he better
than Dante?
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Dante was in that juice head era.
Oh, like, for sure he was.
Well, he played in Colorado.
Into it. Yeah, look how little his son is. Look how short his son is. Because
Dante
he had
big.
Steroids.
Granted, I was like, I'm the same age as Bo, so I mean, I have no idea. How big was Dante?
He was a big boy.
So he roided up.
Oh, for sure. Like everybody.
Oh, not like everybody. Pujols didn't roid up.
Well, I'm talking before that.
When did Dante play?
We're talking like or hate it.
When did Dante play? I thought he played. Really? I thought he played in the early 2000s.
I thought he was like a 94.
He played from 1980. He played from 1988 to 2001.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I'm stupid.
All right. But moving on, my outfield. This one was kind of easy. I kind of went contrarian with my first two picks. Yordan Alvarez for the American League. I went Yordan Alvarez, Aaron Judge, Arson Judge, if you want to go to the San Francisco version.
Arson Judge.
Yeah. Obvious reasons there. 977 OPS and then a 1078 OPS. They're both fantastic. They're boppers. And then Josh Lowe. I liked his 295 average, his 11 home runs, and then his 886 OPS. He's kind of under the radar, and he's solid. Not under the radar enough to where he's like fantasy relevant as a sleeper, but he is just
he was at one point
solid player. He was a sleeper at one point, like last year, maybe a year and a half.
Only 12% had him this year. Then I picked him up for $4 and I traded him. Kind of regret it.
Oh, I mean, he was regularly rostered last year. I don't know. And then I watched the Rangers game the other night, and they were talking about Josh and Nathaniel Lowe because they're brothers, and they had his dad on, and I don't know. I kind of felt for him at that point. Like they got a really good, strong family. I love that idea. So, Josh Lowe, a National League team. I went with Ronald Acuna Jr. Obviously, he's an all-star. He's an all-star on everybody's ballot. And then I went with Juan Soto. 906 OPS, 10 home runs. And I mean, that team looks like a white dog turd. I mean, just god awful. And he's still kind of putting up numbers the way he should be. And then my non-contrarian pick, I went with Randall Grichuk simply because he was leading on the league in OPS. He's since went on the IL, I believe, and I think he's going to miss quite a bit of time. So my next ballot won't have him on there. Where do you go, Adam?
Yeah, man. Hey, dude, I did not know that Nathaniel Lowe and Josh Lowe were brothers. I did not know that. Yeah. Do you think there's a Cooper Lowe, kind of like a Cooper Manning, that just kind of just
the one that got an incurable disease and is unable to play baseball?
Yeah,
probably just
the older brother. They don't let him come out of his room.
Yeah. Exactly.
They give him $100 a month for Fortnite. You get just stay over there.
I mean, I feel so bad for Cooper Manning. Still,
wasn't he the best out of the brothers?
That's what they said.
Supposed to have been. No.
That's what they said, but it's like for him personally, it's like, okay, finally they both are retired, and then it's like, oh, just a few years later, now he's got to listen to the Manning cast on every Monday night game. And
well, dude, one of the cool things, like what he should have done, these like the Caesar Sportsbook ads that they're doing.
Yeah, those commercials.
Like he should have he should have approached them and like the family will do it, and then he should have said like I'll do it, but you pay me more than all these other little fuckers. I'm gonna make sure I'm the one coming out on top on at least one deal.
He'll be like what's
hey Caleb, we'll get to that question at the end.
Yeah.
Yes, we will.
All right, let me go real quick through my outfield. Just to go with it. National League, I got Ronald Acuna Jr., I got Corbin Carroll, and I got Nick Castellanos, just for contrarian type reasons. But I mean, they're all good players. I mean, in the American League, I got Randy Arozarena, I got Adolis Garcia, and I put in for my third outfield pick, I put in Masataka Yoshida.
Hey, good rep. That's a good rep. He is. He's balling out right now.
I mean, I've been very impressed by him. I've been very impressed by him at the plate, especially as one of those kind of, I mean, it's just up in the air how some of these Japanese players come over. But, man, he's got great plate coverage, very good plate coverage. He's got a little pop, too.
And I may be wrong, but I think he got reps at first base the other night, too. So
did he really?
Yeah, so I mean that could be good for your leagues later on in the future. So
yeah, for sure. But yeah, so catcher. And then catcher, I got Jonah Heim in the American League. I got Will Smith in the National League. You kind of mentioned Jonah Heim. I mean, dude, I think he's been a benefactor of the lineup and the production that's hit in front of him. But I mean,
defensively too.
Yeah, defensively. I mean, and he's this is now his third season. I mean, he's been pretty solid. But he's got he's got a 120 OPS plus, 800 OPS. I mean, doesn't have a ton of well, I mean, actually, he's got. Here's what's crazy: he's got 46 RBIs this season at the catching position. I mean,
who's that?
Jonah Heim.
Yeah, dude, he's been solid this whole season.
46 RBIs.
I think he gets more reps at the DH spot though. But I mean, with these new rules, that could benefit everybody. My catchers, I went. I wanted to do Jonah Heim, and I should have done Jonah Heim, but for some reason, I went with Salvador Perez. And you could never go wrong with Salvi. I mean, he is on the level of like traded.
No, I don't think so.
No, Kansas City. I read an article. They said that that they are expecting. Obviously, these are rumors and everything, but they're expecting Chapman to be gone and Salvador Perez.
Really?
I mean, they're probably just fishing. They're probably just fishing for calls because their farm system is so god awful at this moment. Aside from third base, they have nothing in their farm system. So they're probably just fishing for calls. They won't move Salvador Perez. He means too much to the community. He's the Yadier Molina of Kansas City. Like you don't do that.
I mean, and he signed a big deal. Salvador Perez, not even that long ago, honestly.
I think it was before last season.
I was going to say, I'm looking up he signed he signed a 4-year, $82 million deal with a team option in 2026. So he's got another 3 years.
The Kansas City Royals reportedly are open to trade Salvador Perez.
Damn. That's gotta be fishing for farm system stuff. That's gotta be efficient for. I mean,
which is crazy. How is their farm system so bad when they've had so many high picks in the last, basically since they've been to the World Series?
Development. They can't develop players.
Yeah, poorly managed, poor development. I mean, I think they're kind of addressing it now because they did poach. I think they poached a bullpen coach from Tampa Bay to come over as their pitching coach. So I think they're taking care of things now. Hopefully, I don't know.
Yeah.
Salvador Perez is my American League. National League, I went with Will Smith, 918 OPS. It is what it is.
I know, right? That's impressive.
Yeah, he's so good. There's National League catchers this year have been bad. Realmuto has just not been. He's not been Realmuto this year, and
just haven't been
disappointing.
Good.
No. Moving on to DH, American League. I went with Brent Rooker.
Yeah,
I had to get him in there because one, he's a rookie. He has slowed down a lot. But his ISO number has not come down, so he's still hitting the ball hard. He's still hitting the ball deep. He's just got to try to find. He's got to adjust. What I think is he's just got to adjust to the changing temperatures. Once that happens, the home runs are going to come back, and that 12 is going to jump up pretty quick. After that, American National League, I went with Jorge Soler, 240 average, 843 OPS, and 17 bombs. The dude rakes against lefties. I built a trade for him solely because he had a 2-week stretch where he was facing like 5 lefty pitchers, and he hit 5 home runs in that span. So I can't complain about it whatsoever. 5 lefty pitchers, and he was going to Colorado for a 3-game set. So I couldn't complain. And
yeah, you got him when we were playing against each other, you dick.
Yeah, that was my strategy for the 2 weeks, and now I got to find something new to go with.
Well, that's fantasy baseball for you. What works this week doesn't necessarily work next week, and that's the shitty part about it and the challenging part about it. But my DH is to put a bow on it. I've got Shohei Ohtani in the American League. I mean, I don't care where you put him. I don't care if it's DH. I don't care if it's pitcher. I don't care if it's you make up just a Shohei spot on the roster. There you go, man. Kyle Schwarber. Rob, what do you think about that, huh?
Walk off. Oh, wait. Marcus said, hey, guys, before we get to the closing remarks, errors, and omissions, I have breaking news. Pete Alonso's wrist has failed him. It's caused him to sit out for 4 weeks.
Damn. Polar bear.
4 weeks.
Oh, my gosh.
Dude, you know what that means? I just realized this. He's not going to probably hit in the home run derby.
Oh my gosh! I was really anticipating seeing that little jackass dance while he hits the ball.
First and foremost, I want to thank Joe Marcus for bringing that to the Inglorious Batters for us to being the first to bring that on board. Thank you, Marcus. Appreciate it. Second, did we not see this coming? A dude with a keister like that should be backing boys down in the paint.
I'll tell you this much. Hey, but here's the thing. There is no way in hell he has any sort of coordination to play basketball.
No. No.
As white bread as it goes.
He gets what it is he's got strong wrists. Like he's got really strong wrists. So what he does is he just flicks that bat out there and he's like, I made contact, and the ball goes out of the park. That's what it just got strong wrists.
Yeah.
He's got a home run.
But you know who
Marcus Schefter's back at it again. Breaking
Marcus Schefter.
Honestly, dude, Jamarcus Schefter. Like 3 cell phones. But Pete Alonso, you know what? I feel like that is the prototypical Buck Showalter kind of guy. I mean, that's the guy he loves to plug in there at number 3 or number 4.
But let's talk about Schwarber walking off real quick. we had breaking news. I had to stop what you were saying.
No, it's fine. You're good.
Yeah. Breaking news.
You look at the Mets. You got Pete Alonso, and then you got Scherzer and Verlander, right? All 3 of those dudes, it's like scream, I stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and I got my right. That's what they scream. And then you look at Buck Showalter, and you're like, that's the kind of guy that would lead those kind of people. That's that's what they want to become. You're like that. So it all makes sense. He's just kind of created this Proud Boys in New York City to play baseball.
Dude, Buck Showalter is a curmudgeon. And you know what else he does every time he gets a new player? He shakes his hand, and this is whether he's in the dugout or not, because he wears baseball pants actually everywhere he goes, which is crazy.
Yeah.
He reaches in his back pocket and he holds out in his hand for everyone he meets, and you get a choice between a root beer barrel or a Werther's Original like hard candy. And that's what he gives you as like a memento of meeting his old ass.
And he's shaking as they fall out. Just roll out of his hand. And then he's got sunflower seeds. He's got sunflower seeds stuck in his teeth.
Yeah.
No, they're in his dentures.
Hey, and then he says, "Oh, you don't like candy? Well, here." And then out of his little pocket here, he pulls out some dried prunes.
Get some dates.
A $50. Uncle Buck's got you a $50.
Uncle Buck gave me a $2 bill, Daddy.
All right, we should probably move on.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's move on.
Hold on. We're an hour and 6 minutes in, fellas. So I mean, hey, we probably. What do you guys want to do?
Time.
Okay.
All right. We're gonna end this with some last minute fantasy talk. So discuss how you guys have been working with your team, changes, how you guys kept on the process, or you guys struggled, mostly Rob, and how have you fixed your struggles to be good? I'm only saying mostly you because you've had a struggling season so far, and you have woken up the beast a little bit. What have you done to change your team for the better?
Well, first, I'm not offended at all, you prick. But no, like to me, it was a huge learning curve this year coming into the season. I didn't think the changes in baseball were going to affect things as dramatically as they did. So having to adjust to a lot of it has definitely been my main thing. I didn't look forward ahead or like far enough ahead to kind of plan for it. So what I did after what was I like a 1-3 start or 1-4 start, 5? What am I now? I don't even know. Well, I lost a lot of weeks in a lot of consecutive rows. And after I did that, I went through and I wanted to break down and I want to figure out why I was losing and why I couldn't pull off a win. And what I came down to figure out was that starting pitching is a bastard this year, and it's not something that you want to deal with. So when I broke it down to that extent, I realized everybody in the league was having the same issue, starting pitching being an issue, except for those very few teams who did load up on starting pitching as their first draft, their go-to draft strategy. So then I shifted to, okay, well, then I got to build something that is going to be more around the idea of a streaming pitcher-friendly team, but that isn't dependent on pitching. So I tried to build on my lineup instead of my pitching staff because I have some good core pitchers. I got Louis Varland, who's turned out to be a pretty solid pitcher.
Obviously, which I told you to bench last week.
On the fence does not
this
mean
week. I told you.
On the fence does not mean bench. If I send out a request, if I sit there and I say, "Sir, I am visiting your awesome steak restaurant. How is your salmon?" And you go, "Well, I'm on the fence about it." I'm going to be like,
I'm not ordering that shit.
I should probably.
Then why did you start him when I said I'm on the fence?
He's right, Adam. He's right.
Wishy-washy. He said, personally, I'd be on the fence. That's the most.
Well, I said I was on the fence because he's playing against the Tampa Bay Rays. Yeah, I don't know if I would want to start him against the Rays.
And
Yeah.
you know
And
what?
then you said,
Yeah.
F it. I'm just going to start him. And I was like, you do you.
I did.
And guess what?
I did.
-10.
It backfired. He got me some negative points, which was fine. Today, I mean, this week I'm playing the Great Dumper, so I'm ahead. I mean, I don't think that's normal, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no.
I was trying to work in one of his shitting stories, but it didn't work. It wasn't working. But yeah, this week I'm ahead. What I did was I looked at my lineup and I said, what am I going to do with what I have in order to make this lineup work for me week to week? And I decided to go down the route of looking at weekly matchups. And see, I hate doing this because it's giving away how I'm going to approach my entire trade strategy this coming season. But I guess that's also the risk we kind of have. So
that's the downside.
What I did is I went and I looked at right. So I broke it down to weekly matchups, and I am building my team off of the waiver wire based on weekly matchups and through trades based on weekly matchups. So my Jorge Soler pickup was solely based on the idea that he was going to Coors, and then he had 2 pitchers that he was going to face there that were lefties, plus another 3 that were lefties on the rest of his road trip. And he was crushing lefties at the time. So I made it a point to get Jorge Soler with whatever it took. It didn't take much, thankfully. And he is legitimately the reason that my team's turned around right now. So,
dude.
And then I'm moving on based on that. So,
yeah, dude, that's like, have you like, man, it's just like such a bold strategy where, you made the trade for Soler. He hit you like those 3 bombs, like 3 games in a row. And I remember like the last episode, you're like, no, I need more out of him. I traded for him. And then you even mentioned on the last podcast, you're like, no, because, I'm going to move on from him and then trade him after you just traded for him. That's like such a bold strategy to take. Have you done that in years past where you've like made those trades and then immediately are trying to like take advantage of those key matchups that you researched and then move them? Is this new?
No, yeah, this is new for me. It's definitely new for me.
Yeah.
And then on the outside life, I build like my main source of income as a person is my medical retirement from the Army. Outside of that, I try to provide supplemental money for my family through sports betting. But I've taken off sports betting the last 3 weeks just to be able to focus on this approach and the strategy. So I'm hoping a few key players aren't watching. A few key members of our league aren't watching right now. So I could get maybe a discount on some players that I really want.
Yeah. Jim makes a good point. He, for audio only listeners, he said, if you have stable pitchers that you sit for certain matchups, that's not a stable pitcher. He's a streamer, a good streamer, but still a streamer. That's actually a good point. But you know what?
I disagree. I disagree because if I'll come to you in a second, Jordan. I will disagree with this wholeheartedly because at this point right now, if you have Justin Verlander on your roster and he's going to play Tampa Bay, are you going to start Justin Verlander?
Yeah.
I might bench him.
I'm starting all my pitchers all the time.
Would you? You'll start Verlander?
I have Verlander.
The starting pitcher I got. If they're starting that day, I'm starting them. Unless it's like come Sunday and I bench them last minute and cause a league uproar.
So So here's the thing. A couple years back, I had Clayton Kershaw. He was one of the top pitchers, like he always is, in the league. And he was facing off against the Giants. The Giants were one of the best teams in baseball that season, and he was supporting like a low 2 ERA. Kershaw was kicking butt that season. And I know it was a Sunday, and I elected to bench Kershaw, and it was a close matchup. I ended up winning that matchup because Kershaw gave me -10 on the bench. I remember that because I felt like the greatest manager ever for making that decision.
Yeah. No,
So
and see, that's my point too.
Always
it's like,
that reason though.
No, and for this one, like this particular instance with Varland, it was I benched him on a Monday or a Tuesday. I did. I benched him on a Monday or Tuesday. So yeah, most people would look at that as a streamer. But if you're looking at the strategy that I am approaching this from, that's a solid starting pitcher to me. A solid starting pitcher is going to get you negative points. Justin Verlander, for instance, did he not just give you negative points like 2 days ago, 3 days ago?
He gave me negative 6 yesterday against the Braves.
But is Justin Verlander a streaming pitcher?
No, absolutely not.
And and based off of Justin Verlander's previous outings this year, looking at a matchup with probably the best hitting team in the National League, being the Braves, it would have been wise decision to sit there and probably second guess starting him, right?
Yeah, no, 100%.
And it would have turned out, it would have turned out to be a wise decision. So saying that just because you have to second guess starting them makes them a streaming pitcher is completely false and inaccurate, because that would make DeGrom and Kershaw and Verlander and anybody that has to play the Braves or the Rays a streamable pitcher. And that's not a solid argument. And Louis Varland, that is the first negative game he has gotten since he's been in the Major League Baseball.
Well, yeah, dude. And that's the thing.
Nuts.
Yeah, dude. And that's the thing about that Louis Varland conversation that we had where Jordan was on the fence. I'm like, oh, dude, no. Hey, here's the thing about Louis Varland. I'm like, he doesn't walk anybody. And I always give the guys that limit the free passes. I give him a long leash. Definitely start him. And what does Louis Varland do? He had 8 walks on the season coming into this start that we're talking about. He had 4 walks in that start. And I'm like, go figure, man. Because why? Right. Because baseball. That's why.
Baseball, and it's beautiful. That's the thing about baseball. Adam, what has been your strategy amongst the middle portion of the first half of the season?
Well, dude, honestly, I mean, my strategy up until like really kind of starting here in the last couple of weeks was let me get my team healthy. Let me figure out where I'm at.
Your pitchers.
Yeah, I mean, and that kind of was like, okay, someone goes down, I replace them, then that person goes down, then I replace, so it's kind of like a revolving door. But I'm for the most part, I think actually the only guy I got on my IL, knock on wood, is Brandon Woodruff, which, he's been there all year. So he's just kind of glued to that spot. But no, I mean, my strategy has been different. I mean, I don't like it. What's cool about our league, Jordan, and I think you can attest to this, and Jim and you and some of the other guys in the league, they do a good job of keeping us all engaged. But what's been different for me is, I guess as we sit here right now, I'm 6-3, good for first in our division. But like, I don't have any outs. I'm not scoring a ton. I think I am benefiting from not being scored on a lot, which is nice. But, I don't have any pitchers in those categories that are leading, or any players that are leading any of those categories. I think I'm like 8th in scoring in the, so kind of towards the middle of the pack. But so it's just been a lot of, a little bit of luck, which is what fantasy is all about. But so my strategy has kind of been week to week. I'm trying to get my pitching figured out a little bit. I do think, as I look on the waiver wire every night and for these different streamers and whatnot, there's just nothing there, man. It's terrible. I'm really trying to look for prospects getting called up, because what's out there right now, even with what I have on my roster, I have a hard time giving up what I have to go get one of those guys, and so many of them, when I go into our league, I'm like, how the hell is Julio Teheran, or some of these other guys? I'm like, how the hell are they being taken in this league? But yeah, I mean, the one thing I did have to ask you guys, because I wanted to get your guys' take on it. There was a comment. How would you feel about this? I add solid streamers with the intention of benching them so the rest of the league doesn't have access.
Didn't Jim do that to Pico this season?
I don't remember, but that is such an assassin move, in my opinion. Now, what I will say for Dylan, who commented, like our waiver wire probably works different than your league, where ours is kind of like an auction waiver wire where you put in your bid, and we have a set amount of free agent dollars that we get for the whole year. So that makes our waiver wires a little bit different as far as just adding streamers to put them on your bench. But in certain cases, I could see where maybe that value would still be worth it. But yeah, what did you guys think about that strategy?
I find that as a dick strategy, but I love it. I love it.
I mean, I love it because it is that you're kind of
got that dog in you.
Yeah, any league that runs a fab system, it's not. It won't. It can't work.
Well, it just seems odd to me. Like if you're putting in a pick, this is where I don't understand. If you're putting in a pick so that someone else in the league doesn't get him to stream, and it's a streaming pick, you would think you're putting in that pick because the person you're playing wants him. But then if you're going to turn around and sit him on the bench, like that must mean you think he's going to do bad. Well, then why wouldn't you just let him put him in his team and get the negative? But it's just like, what's the strategy behind that?
I guess there's two ways to look at this. First, you're approaching it from like you're a team that might be out of the playoffs or done with it and you just don't want a particular team to win. Or if your team allows for the, non-playoff teams to add drop waivers during playoffs, it could be something like that. You could add a couple pitchers. You're out of the playoffs. You're done. But you can add a couple pitchers so that, I don't know, Jim doesn't win the league, So, It could be something like that. Or like in a fantasy football style environment, if you have a league that is low scoring or is, doesn't have a lot of scoring categories, maybe it's possible because like in fantasy football, I could see like, if, Trey Lance got hurt. So picking up Brock Purdy, stashing him on your bench so that this guy can't pick him up when Trey Lance inevitably gets hurt. And that could be one style of strategy for fantasy baseball, though. I don't see that could work unless you're in like a keeper league or like a dynasty style, like a deep format where you have people that you're carrying over from year to year.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I get it now. I see Jane.
Yeah.
Jim and Shane's comments. Jeez, that was a tongue twister. I kind of get it now. Like, I guess I was looking at it like, okay, the night before you're putting that bid in. I didn't think of it as days ahead of time, but yeah, that makes perfect sense.
So I'll be quick with mine because I want to get with Caleb's question before we log off for the night.
Yes.
So my strategy has been for the last 2 seasons, and I've discovered that last season was successful. So I'm doing similar things. I'm really stacking up on my starting pitching. But then also I'm flipping some starting pitching and turning that into good offensive bats. And so, like, for example, if anybody is curious, Dylan Cease is available if anybody wants to, in our league, that wants to jump on him. I'm looking at you, Adam, because you have a hard time with pitchers. But no, I've been flipping pitchers this season, and it's actually hasn't been bad. My record isn't great. I have a winning record. I'm 5-4. I'm behind Adam currently. But I'm also playing against a very tough Brandon 2 team this week. So we'll see. I got lucky. Somebody cut Brian De La Cruz for some odd reason. And that was season might just be over. Who's that? Is that?
I think that's Ethan.
Is that Ethan? Oh, Ethan. Come on, man.
Yeah. Hey, but the second best De La Cruz in the league now.
Oh, we'll get to that.
I don't know about that, man.
Well, he he can't get it. Never mind. All right, but yeah, that's my strategy.
Yes, he can.
But also relief pitching. My relief pitching has been. I think I lead the league in holds this season because Eric Swanson is a freaking dog.
Yeah, okay. He is, but you forced the hell out of it when you said he's a top 2 relief pitcher in the league.
Bro.
Who's that?
Bro.
Eric Swanson.
Who? No, he's not top 2.
Eric Swanson is a dog.
Yeah, okay.
He's not top 2. If you Felix Bautista.
He hasn't given up a single run in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight games. Probably more than that. I just can't see it on
look
fantasy.
at Jan.
Can you look it up for me, Adam, please?
Cano.
Huh? What is that?
Yanni or Cano with Baltimore. Look at Yanni or Cano with Baltimore.
Yeah. I'm looking. No.
Is he even the best reliever on his team?
Him and Jordan Romano, they're like a 1-2 punch. He does the saves. Eric Swanson does the holds.
Yeah.
So it's basically Devin Williams and Josh Hader.
Back from a couple years ago.
Yeah.
People that grew up in the 90s would call that the Nasty Boys.
Yeah.
Reds fans? No?
No, sorry.
Who are you talking about?
I thought that was a like a WWE wrestling.
That's who I thought too. I was like, okay, so we're talking WWE now.
No, the Reds bullpen 1990 they were called the Nasty Boys. It was like Rob Dibble, Rios, and
that guy threw
Sabo.
gas. But all right,
starting pitcher.
So I'm gonna move on to Caleb's question. I saw him ask this a couple times. I feel bad for not answering it, but we're gonna end it off with this question for the night. Big question is who wins Rookie of the Year? My National League, I think I can speak for the three of us. Corbin Carroll. Agreed?
Oh. Hold on. I'm trying to.
It can't be De La Cruz. He hasn't played. He doesn't qualify as a rookie this season. His rookie season's next season.
No, well, yeah. I mean, I'm
not arguing for De La Cruz.
Yeah, I mean, Corbin Carroll seems to be the obvious one. I was just trying to figure out, is there any like pitchers that we're missing that, but I don't think we're missing anybody, man.
Senga from he's pitching very well.
Yeah, but it just takes so much as a pitcher to get any of these other awards where they factor in position players, whether that's the MVP or Rookies of the Year. I mean, but yeah, I think Corbin Carroll is definitely living up to the hype on an exciting team. I think that helps him with Rookie of the Year voting. As long as they're playing well, I think that helps him even further. Yeah, no, for sure. Rookie of the Year, NL, Corbin Carroll.
No,
I saw you shaking your head. Talk to us.
I think there are two very slept-on National League Rookies of the Year that people aren't looking at, and I want to look at the Cincinnati Reds, and I don't want to look at Elly De La Cruz. Elly De La Cruz is a talent amongst itself, and that is one that won't be toppled for quite some time. What do you want to have to say? Go say it.
Can he qualify for Rookie of the Year? Because I just checked his odds. I thought he doesn't. I thought he was. No, I thought it was a little too late.
No, he qualifies.
Oh, when's the cutoff?
I think it's the All-Star break, isn't it? But okay. I'm not talking Elly De La Cruz.
My apologies.
I'm not talking Elly De La Cruz. I think Elly De La Cruz is going to be a fine talent in the MLB, and he'll probably be one of the league's best in the near future. If in the near future for sure, if not in the distant future to come. I want to talk about two young men. One that was called up a month ago. His name is Matt McClain, shortstop, Cincinnati Reds. He's gotten reps at first base. He's gotten reps at left field, I believe. He's got a 404 WOBA at the moment, 531 slugging. He has got a 354 batting average and a 404 OBP. This guy does not miss. So I actually did place a 2.5 unit bet, which is a $250 bet on Matty McClain to win Rookie of the Year.
Damn, dude.
Yeah,
What's
I
the
really
payout?
do think. I have no idea. I don't even pay attention to that. I don't want to know because I don't want to know what I could have won. I want to know what I win.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And then I also want to turn my attention to one Spencer Steer. He has been genuinely slept on in the fantasy community and in just the general baseball community as it is. 286 average, 365 OBP, 482 slugging, 367 WOBA. He's got a 218. Let me see. Where's he at? Yeah, 218 ISO or 196 ISO. So this guy is hitting triples, doubles, bombs. It doesn't matter. He is able to do it all. 8 bombs on the season. He plays first. He plays third. He's going to start getting reps in the outfield. So fantasy wise, this dude's going to be a must. He's going to be a must roster. And I do think that he can win National League MVP or Rookie of the Year. And I think specifically because this isn't a blip on the radar. Ellie De La Cruz has been a blip on the radar. If you look at Nolan Jones, his last few days, that's kind of been a blip on the radar. He's had hot streaks. Spencer Steer has built his numbers because he's done it from day one. Like his numbers are that way because it's a consistent on base. He's consistently hitting the ball. So
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Dude, I will say, and this is something I wanted to bring up in earlier, dude, what the Reds offense has done has been impressive. I mean, when you look at baseball card stats, dude, what worries me about them is this is what worries me about Texas, the Rangers in particular. When you look at the prolific offensive numbers they've put on it, and we mentioned earlier in the podcast is how sustainable is this Rangers run going to be so far in these first few months of the season. What sticks out is they are number 1 in the league right now in batting average balls in play. They're as a team, they're number 1 in the MLB, 329 Texas is. And I just don't that's just not sustainable. But hey, Cincinnati, dude, Cincinnati's number 2 in all of MLB in batting average ball in play at 324.
I feel like a home run friendly ballpark also has to accompany a high BABIP, because if you're getting on base, you're simply getting on base because the balls are falling to where they go. And the way the BABIP stat works, it kind of finds the difference between the starting pitching and then the defense that is provided, and then the ballpark effects. So I feel like a home run friendly ballpark, if you're a high average guy, you're going to have a high BABIP. So if you're a high average team, you're going to have an elevated BABIP as well. So I think that you're seeing that, one. And two, I do feel simply Cincinnati's playing out of their shoes right now. They're not – this isn't the team that they're not playing the way a team full of rookies should be playing. And let's face facts, your first baseman, rookie. Your shortstop, rookie. I mean, and now your third baseman, rookie. I mean, so you've got a team full of rookies. There's going to be regression. Yeah. But with Spencer Steer, when we saw the minor regression, that first half regression, Spencer Steer hit through that. He was on base through that. His walk percentage was elevated through that. The rest of the teams was down. His was still right there. So I think I see Spencer Steer as more of a value in that sense, to where it doesn't matter. He's going to be like 2006 Joey Votto when he won MVP. That's going to be like the Spencer Steer that that's going to be what he brings to the league.
Yeah. No, and your BABIP comment, that would make sense as far as, taking the ballpark into that stat, because as I took a quick glance after you said that, I looked, I'm like, oh, number 3 in the league is Colorado at 322,
Yeah.
So it makes perfect sense. I mean, that definitely plays a role for sure.
Yeah.
But
what do you think? Right. What do you say? Are you sticking with Corbin Carroll, Jordan? You said Corbin Carroll?
Yeah, I'm sticking with Corbin Carroll.
What'd you go with American League?
My American League, I am going with excuse me. Okay. So I'm getting my American League one correct so far that I predicted at the beginning of the season. Yoshida.
Yeah.
Sticking with Yoshida.
A great pick.
and then my sleeper is not really a sleeper, but Ruiz. That man's so good. That man's fun to watch.
He is. It's just. I think it's gonna be hard for him to get those votes coming from that team. I mean, dude, they are on pace to be so incredibly bad. I mean, you're talking. You got to go back to the 1899 Cleveland Spires, to get that kind of record.
That's tough.
And in 2023, if you ever got to go back to 1899, that's not as far as wins are concerned. Like, it's just never a good thing to have to go back that far.
No.
But no.
All right, let's go. Let's touch American League first, real quick.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, go ahead, Rob. Who's your American League?
we were talking about Ruiz.
Oh, I was cutting in and out. I've been hearing like bits and pieces.
Yeah. We were talking about Ruiz, and I said my preseason pick was Yoshida, and he's, in my opinion, I think he's leading everybody right now.
Yeah, I like Yoshida.
I agree.
I mean, I guess
the only other contender would be Noda, but his underlying stats.
No. The next contender is going to be Josh Jung.
Yeah, I guess, and I guess the other one I'd throw in there, if you are gonna just for sake of argument put a pitcher in this conversation, Hunter Brown with the Astros has been quite impressive, considering they're still operating without Luis Garcia, they're operating without Lance McCullers. I mean, he's filled in some pretty big innings and has filled in very, very well.
Right.
So, all right.
So, Rob, do you guys have anything you guys would like to add?
Just Masataka Yoshida, and probably is going to be my number one pick. Looking at the numbers again, the 315 average is pretty solid. 382 WOBA. I think Noda's probably the next closest.
Noda?
Just because of his.
From Oakland, right?
I mean, yeah, dude. Yeah. I guess it would be hard to give it to Oakland. So I guess Josh Jung would be my next closest. So 366 WOBA.
It sucks. Imagine, granted, I wouldn't be pissed if I was on the A's personally. I'd be, I'm a Major League Baseball player.
Yeah. Making a couple $100K a year, I'm fine.
Yeah, I'd be like, shoot, I'm making $300K a year. I'm cool. Whatever. I'll get out of here and make $1 million. But all right. So with that being said,
get out of here.
Anything you guys would like to add before I log us off?
No, just thanks to the viewers. Thanks for the comments. Thanks to our sponsors, Old Fort Baseball. Thanks to VSN Sports Network for allowing us the platform to talk to you guys. Like Jordan said, he's going to be out next podcast, so it'll be Rob, myself, and a mystery guest to be determined at a later date. That's all I got, but thank you guys for tuning in as always.
Yeah, anything you'd like to add, Rob?
Fuck you.
That's his way of saying have a great night. Have a great night, everybody. Love you, Sezzy. Love you, Oliver. Good night.